Everyone, it's the Miserable Movie Man back once again with another video. So, obviously, as folks know, I am a cinema buff or aficionado, I guess. I've watched a lot of movies in my time, and I'm at an age now where I've seen so many remakes of films. Hollywood has run out of ideas, they're constantly remaking films, and the majority of the time, these films fall far short of the original versions. They just don't have the quality to remake these films better than the originals. But there have been a choice few remakes where the actual remake that Hollywood did was better than the original. And these are some films I want to get into today. So I'm going to do a list of my top 5 remakes from Hollywood that were better than the original films. Before we really get into it, I do want to say that there's quite a lot of films that you could consider remakes. Things like Dune or Batman 89, The Day the Earth Stood Still, these types of things. I'm not counting those. I actually, quite like the original Dune, even though I think the new one is much better. So I wouldn't really call that a remake as such, which sets it apart. The old Batman films are great. I love Adam West, love Michael Keaton, love Affleck. Don't love the Chris Nolan films so much, but if you watch this channel, you should know that. And I'm not including continuations of things like Cobra Kai, or even worse remakes like Battlestar Galactica, which to me was way worse than the original show. There are some other things, like Daredevil, Mission Impossible, adaptation of foreign language films like True Lies, etc. I'm not going with a foreign language film remake. I'm going to go with original Hollywood film and then original Hollywood remake. A Dread, I think, is better than the original, but I actually quite like the Stallone version. True Grit, which many people say is one of the best westerns of all time. The original's not bad either. So does it really stand so far apart? Not to me. The Thing, The Fly, Man on Fire, Fatal Attraction, these are all names that I could throw in. But I'm going to go with films that I think are significantly better than the original. Also, films where I have seen both versions. So I need to have seen both versions to comment on the film. And there you go, those are the rules. So without further ado, let's get into it. My top 5 Hollywood remakes that are way better than the originals. Coming in at number 5, we have a classic 90s film, The Mummy. Now, the original monster version, back in the 40s was good. The audiences were wowed by the film and they really enjoyed it. And I'm going with the Brendan Fraser version because I haven't actually seen the Tom Cruise version, to be honest, when he tried to create his own monsterverse, as it were. But the Brendan Fraser version is so much more fun than the original version. I think the original version tries to be scary and, the special effects are what they were for its time. But when you watch The Mummy, it's just an absolutely exhilarating ride from start to finish. The acting is great, the characters are great, the special effects were, at that time, another level, out of this world. I mean, if you look at The Mummy in the original film, you think, okay, how can this dude really be a challenge? But then you see some of the stuff that, The Mummy can do in the remake with the sandstorms and all of that. It's incredible to watch, and you really get a proper sense of danger that perhaps was missing in the original film. And of course, Rachel Weisz, Brendan Fraser, very likable characters, very great chemistry, a lot of quippy one-liners. People may say that his characters are kind of a take on Indiana Jones, but I think, he was enough of his own character to enjoy it. And the film is just a great family film. I think it's one of those films that if it comes on, you can watch it time and time again. Would I watch the old school 40s version? No, I wouldn't. I watched it once, but that was enough for me. But The Mummy comes at number 5 for me as a really, really great film and a really great remake. Way, way better than the original. Coming in at number 4, this is a controversial one perhaps because it's coming in at number 4, but Heat. Heat for me is an insanely good remake of the original version, which is also done by Michael Mann, called LA Takedown. Now, if you haven't seen it, the LA Takedown version doesn't have the star level that Heat does, and it doesn't have the tension that the remake in Heat does. So I think that really sets it apart. I mean, when Heat came out, it just blew everyone away with the action sequences, the tension, the acting, and of course you got 2 of cinema's legends, Pacino and De Niro, facing off against each other. I mean, Pacino's speech when he says, "She had a great ass, and your head was right up in there." It's just iconic. The way that the characters are delved into is better. The way that they interplay, I think, is better. Even the way Michael Mann shot it was better. Just the way that he shot the gunfights, the way that he had the sort of lighting done, the way that he shot it at the different times of day. Everything about that film is remade several notches above the original. Now, LA Takedown was okay, but it's not a great film. When you watch Heat, you just think this is a blockbuster with top director and top actors. And it's so much better than the original. They had to put it in there. Some people may say it should be higher up on the list. And it's got Val Kilmer and other great people in it. It's got unbelievably good action sequences. And of course, the character definition of who's taking down who's going to get away with it. A thief with some kind of morals. If you want to enjoy that scene reenacted, watch Tom Hiddleston's impression of it to De Niro on Graham Norton's show. I think that's quite a funny watch. But Heat itself, gripping, way more gripping than LA Takedown. And so for that reason, several notches above the original. I've got Heat in at number 4. And number 3, continuing the trend of Pacino films, we have Scarface. The original Scarface was a 30s gangster film. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It is great. It's a good film. Good actors, good performances. But the remake is iconic. The remake is one of those things where it's had such a massive influence on modern culture to this day. TV stars quote it, film stars quote it, music stars quote it. It's influenced so many things. And it's one of those films that is always talked about. The way De Palma shot it, the way Pacino acted, the accents, the violence, over the top at the time. I think De Palma had to cut it like maybe 8 times to get it the rating that he wanted to tone the violence down. Even though some of it is implied, some of it's a bit off screen, but still, iconic lines. If you want to see the best TV edit of any line ever, watch the TV edited family version, I guess, of Scarface, where Pacino gives a line about what this town is like, and it's an amazingly well-written cover-up for the swear word that he used. But Scarface alone is an amazing film. It's one of those things where you just grip from start to finish. You see the rise and fall of this man, as you did in the original 30s version, but the way that they switched the setting, to immigrants coming in to the US and they set it in Miami, it's just such a great take on American culture, American dream, the greed, the way that people just lose themselves, and the rise and fall of a great man. The original Scarface was just purely more about the sort of gangster elements and how this guy was ruthless and stuff. And you get that in the remake, but my God, it's probably one of Pacino's greatest performances for me. So the whole style, the music, the looks, the direction, costumes, the acting, the lines, way better than the original. But go check out the original and let me know what you think. But Scarface is in there for me at number 3. Number 2 is the first of a series of films in a franchise that I adore, and that is Ocean's 11. Now, if you've seen the original 60s Ocean movie with the Rat Pack, it's got Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, all of these people. It is a fun heist movie. Fun. Top stars. They were all supposed to be, army guys who worked together to plan the perfect job. And it's got a lot of sort of comedy that for me doesn't often land. Maybe it worked in the 60s, especially the ending. The ending was very silly. But the remake, Ocean's 11, Soderbergh, 11 unbelievably top names. It's just amazing. It's amazing when you watch it. And by those 11 names, I'm including Andy Garcia in that. So that film was just the epitome of cool, style, just suaveness, sophistication. Just everything about that film is just... It's like a Rolls-Royce remake of the original. Yeah, these guys are con artists, but they're con artists with a heart. They're not all, army guys or anything. They're all thieves or con men, and they all have their personal, individual capabilities and skill set, which they use in the film. Everything about that film is so smart. I mean, it's the smartest remake I've ever seen. The characters and the actors are perfect for the film. The way they bounce off each other, the lines they use, the looks they use. Brad Pitt eating in every scene. Clooney with some of his sort of head motions and the way that he looks at people before he says anything. The heist itself, the caper, was way more complicated than the original one. The original one was really just sort of smash and grab type of job, right? Where you couldn't even see the people when they were robbing the banks. But the smartness with which they rob the casinos is superbly done. Just the way that everything had to be in place, all the different elements they had to get together. And the challenges they face is so eminently watchable. This is an eminently watchable film. It comes on, you're hooked, you get sucked in, brilliant acting, brilliant performances. Yeah, you get the I guess the legendary status of the Rat Pack and Sinatra, and I think Sammy Davis Jr. to me put on a really good show for that film. They were cool and they had a lot of charm, but Clooney and Brad Pitt take it to another level. The way that they're funny with Damon, the way that Don Cheadle is in there with his bad English accent, and then in the future films you see him reading a book on diction and elocution and how he can enunciate it correctly. They've got a few little meta references in the subsequent films, which is great. But the first one, Ocean's 11, is still my favorite. I love watching that film anytime it's on. Brilliant film, brilliant twist, brilliant acting. Way better than the original. So that's the number 2. And what is number 1, you ask? Drum roll, please. Number 1, another 90s film. For me, the best remake of a Hollywood original is The Thomas Crown Affair. The Thomas Crown Affair, somewhat like Ocean's 11, is just a cool film. It's really well directed by John McTiernan, who also did Die Hard, and 2 amazing leads in Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo. Yeah, I guess the original had 2 great leads as well, McQueen and Dunaway, and Dunaway's actually in the film as Thomas Crown's psychiatrist. But, the original was just guy that comes up with a job where he robs somebody and then tries to get away with it, but he does it in a way that isn't as smart or as cool. And you can watch Steve McQueen for a while. I mean, he is electric on screen, but in this film, I think it was maybe a little bit miscast. So, yeah, it was a good original film, but I tell you, the remake, if I could be any person from cinema in real life, I would be Pierce Brosnan's Thomas Crown. A guy that is so rich and so bored. During the day, he screws people over through M&A and makes millions. And then at night, he plans crimes for the hell of it, for the fun of it, because he's that smart and that cool and that bored. And his life is incredible. I mean, he just lives the best life ever. And just watching Brosnan bring all of his A-game to the role, just the charm, the coolness, the suaveness, the way that he effortlessly just interacts with everyone, the confidence. It's brilliant. There's a scene where him and Rene Russo are debating on burning something, she's thinking it's the main painting he's stolen, and he's letting her burn it. And you can just see the way that they play off each other is brilliant. It's brilliant. I think the relationship was better, much better between those two than the original, in Dunaway and McQueen. And Rene Russo also brings this unbelievably sexy, chic investigator into the role. She plays it so well, plays off him so well. You got Dennis Leary as the guy that is kind of her foil to some degree. She's always, he likes her and respects her, but she knows that he's not the kind of guy that she would fall for. And so you have a really great mix of fun, action, enjoyment, chemistry, witty, smart, very, very tense, some tense scenes, some less tense scenes, and just some very, very enjoyable scenes. It's for me one of those films where as soon as it's on, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it till the end, especially the end scene. The end scene is done so well. It's been imitated, by the way, many times since then, but the end scene is done so well compared to the original film. And, it's one of those things where I think everything came together in a perfect storm with, the direction, the music, the actors, the script. It's a really, really great movie, and for me, a significant upgrade on the original. I love it. I will always watch it. If you haven't seen The Thomas Crown Affair, I highly suggest you check it out. Just fun for everyone. A lot of heart and soul went into this film, and it shows. And that was my number 1. There you go. That was my list. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below how I missed some remakes that you think were better than the original. If I haven't seen them, I'll check them out and I'll let you know. What do you think of my list? Would you change the order around? Did you think that I was wildly off on anything? Very keen to hear your thoughts as always. Please share, like and subscribe to help support the channel, and catch you next time.